Welcome, everybody, to the Dez Bros show. It's your boy, MJ.
And his bro, Drew.
And lo and behold, we're restarting our podcast again, and now we're recording. We're going to start videos. This is just the beginning. This is just a little sample, see how far we could go, what our range is, and how it is with recording. And we'll get better as time goes on. We're just learning this stuff. We just want to get to it already, man, because we're already 2 months into the new year. So much has gone on, and we're just here to talk about it. And we're going to give our own flavor, our own take on subjects, whether somewhat political. We're trying to stay out of the weeds of the political realm. Don't want to get too political. But I mean, hey, that's news, right? We're going to get into the news. We're going to get into the conspiracies. Conspiracies is huge in our lives since we've been kids, since teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
So take it away, man. I don't know what else you want to say.
Also, we like to talk about, what I like to talk about is pop culture stuff. So I just saw the latest Captain America movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about that as well, and I'll talk about it as our first intro.
Yeah.
I'll talk about Captain America.
And of course, when it comes back to the conspiracies, you know, as a kid, that's always been our passion. It's always been fun.
Yeah.
All our cousins, I mean, man, growing up, back then when the internet was barely becoming what it was, back what it was before. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But, sorry, I'm a little nervous because we have that damn camera pointing at us and recording. So it's a little different. Just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. But E-Bombs World, ebombsworld.com was huge when we were teenagers growing up.
The big old battle when YouTube was starting to kick in.
Yeah, this is before YouTube was a big thing. And so E-Bombs World was the place to go. That was like our social media right there in a way, you know.
It was.
Viral videos, sometimes
scary videos,
conspiracies. They had video games on there, kind of disgusting stuff. That was a crazy website, and that's what we were raised on practically.
Yeah.
Us and our cousins. And then it just went from there. As far as conspiracies, now it's like every podcast, there's so many shows and so many podcasts right now on YouTube, Rumble, you name it, TikTok, conspiracies.
Yeah.
It's like the hot subject right now. It's huge, and it's a big thing to talk about. And I know people out there are probably thinking, oh, here goes another podcast about conspiracies. Yeah, here it is. But we're not just going to focus on conspiracies. It's the Dez Bros show. We're going to talk about everything under the sun, basically, right?
Yep.
So today, the big subject we're going to talk about is JFK and RFK, John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy. And I know a lot of people know about, I mean, there's so many documentaries and videos and everything about it. But on our show, maybe there's some stuff you don't know about. And you're going to hear it first on here. And I'll even point you in the direction of where to find these videos and interviews and stuff, articles. And if you don't have to, you just sit back, relax, and hear it from us. So without further ado, let's start the show.
So I want to first talk about Captain America. And the latest Captain America movie I just watched that just came out is mediocre.
Okay.
It's not super awesome. It's not super amazing. It's not going to blow your mind. It's none of that. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy watching it. I had a good time.
From what I read, it's like your typical Marvel. If you're a Marvel fan, you're gonna enjoy the movie.
It's your typical Marvel film. And from what I could see is that like there's so much more they could have done with it, with the enemies, with the villains. There's a plot towards the end in which it shows what, the big reveal. There's always the big reveal, but the way the big reveal is execution. What didn't make any sense. So I'm just gonna give spoiler warning.
I mean, it's been out for 2 weeks.
It's been out for 2 weeks. If you haven't seen it, then you haven't seen it. But so what happens is there's a character that figures out, oh man, this is what the main villain is doing. The villain comes, kills the guy, but then he reveals his plan anyway.
Yeah.
So what was the point of killing that guy? It was pointless for killing that guy just for him. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. That's like, what was the point of that? Esposito. Hopefully I didn't butcher his name. I probably did, but they could have given that guy a bigger story. He's part of a group called the Serpent Society, and they didn't really do anything with them either. They didn't really do anything with the Serpent Society. I don't know. Like, there's just so many hits and misses. Of course, the action's where it's at, and the action was like, I feel like it was on the bar. Me personally, I like the action in this movie, but other than that, though, as plot wise, it just did not have a good execution to it, and I think that's what gives it the 6 mediocre, because you're watching a movie for story, especially when it's a Marvel movie. You're watching it for story, And if the story's not executioned well, then what was the point of watching it?
Mm.
Even if the action is good.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of, I think that's a lot of these mediocre moral films are like. It's like, oh yeah, the action's on point, but how's the story?
Uh-huh.
So I gave it a mediocre 6.0.
Oh, okay. 6
Yeah.
out of 10.
6 out of 10. Wait for streaming.
Oh, okay. Watch it on stream.
That's my rating.
That's what
Wait
I'm
for
gonna do.
streaming.
Yep. And then what else do you want to talk about?
Another thing I want to talk about is what the biggest news that just hit me a couple of days ago. It was Pokemon AZ. So I just want to clarify that it's Pokemon Z-A. I know I said AZ, but it's Pokemon Z-A. So I just want to clarify that. The latest Pokemon game is coming out. I'm a huge Pokemon fan. And the latest Pokemon game that came out shows that the Pokemon, how for years we always wanted to use the Pokemon to move it, right? To like dodge attacks. Well, in this Pokemon game, when you roll, your Pokemon follows, so your Pokemon could dodge attacks following you. So there's they added that kind of thing in which I always wanted in a Pokemon game. I always wanted to dodge attacks from another Pokemon.
Oh, as you're battling.
As you're battling.
Oh, it's not just the turn-based strategy that
as you're battling, you could dodge attacks.
Oh.
So I think that's a pretty big deal for me. And the rest of the story is basically it's in a city, and it's basically kind of like Detective Pikachu, in which Pokemon and humans live in the same city together. And I guess there's areas where certain Pokemon are barely coming into the city, and they're new Pokemon. So what do? You got to catch them and discover them and learn about them. So that's basically the new plot of the new Pokemon game, which is interesting.
And as for me, I'm looking forward to Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah, that's coming, September, October?
Yeah.
Can't remember. Am I going to play it? I wish I could, but am I going to have time? Hell no, I'm not going to have no time to play, man. It's hard, man. It's hard. My schedule and work just juggling work, family life, and out here, we can do a podcast. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but we're going to try to do this a weekly thing. If not, maybe bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. But the news cycle just constantly changes and goes so fast, so it's going to be kind of hard to keep up with. Yeah. But we're going to try our best.
And there's always something new.
There's always something new. Like I said, it's updating constantly. So by the time we release this episode, which hopefully by Monday or Tuesday the latest, so whatever we're talking about, it might be irrelevant.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe there's an update on it. And we'll do an update show on it next week. Yeah. So recently, the biggest news right now, especially in the Trump administration, you got DOGE. Yeah. Big fan of what they're doing. And this shouldn't even be a Democrat or Republican thing. This is because I tend to be more in the middle.
Yeah.
And I lean more right, but I'm more in the middle. And then there's some things I'm gonna like about the administration, some things I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna be all gung ho for everything. Come on, let's get real.
They're human. Yeah, they're not gods.
Exactly. So, DOGE is a big thing, and I don't care if you're left or right. This is for the American people. This is for me and you, or you and me, and I think it's a good thing what they're doing.
Yeah, no,
because even if Obama was doing this, the left was doing this, I'd applaud it and say this is a great freaking thing they're doing.
Yeah, as a person in the middle, you wanted to see this. I wanted to see this. Like, how much billions of dollars were being spent for a shrimp on a treadmill?
Yeah, it was a research. I forgot where or what, but there was research on shrimp, how fast they could run on a treadmill, and we obviously when you look at that, that's just a fake. I bet you that wasn't even real research.
Oh no, 100%.
Or maybe they set it up and faked it, but maybe I forgot how many million went to that, but there was a millions of dollars, and I don't have a set amount. I should have had that ready.
Yeah,
sorry guys, but you can look it up. But there was a set amount for this research, and only a portion went to it. And where did the rest go? There's so many. I'm sorry, I'm hitting the desk. There's so many of these, dude, I'm so unprepared. There's so many of these things that they're spending billions and millions of dollars on overseas, here in the States, for research and other stuff. Humanitarian efforts.
But you don't even see a cent going to that. Well, there's money going to it.
There's a small portion of the set amount.
There is a small.
But the rest of it, where is it at?
Exactly.
behind it's going in the back of politicians' pockets,
It-
whether it's Republican or Democrat. They're
Both
all
sides.
getting a cut, and the Trump administration is putting a stop to that. Elon Musk is putting a stop to that crap. Now the thing is that's not too clear is, has this money been spent already? The rest of it, have the politicians, has it reached their pockets? Has it reached their bank accounts? I don't know. Or is it just money that's put on hold? Some of it was used and some of it's put on hold, which I'm hoping it is.
Yeah, hopefully it's still there.
And there's rumors and talks of us getting like $5,000 checks from it. I doubt that'll
I doubt
happen,
that's gonna
but
happen.
I'm pretty sure we'll get a cut.
Yeah,
The American people, you and me, I think we'll get a cut of it.
yeah, but I mean, what's more important?
I
Is
would love 5,000.
What's more important is the debt, though. That's the most important
and that's
part.
and realistically,
That's the most important part.
United States is so much. I don't know how many trillions of dollars in debt we are. Hopefully this will pay some of the debt that we owe.
Yeah,
And that's where a majority of it's going to go. And I know people are going to be pissed. See, I told you they're keeping the money. No, it's going to go. You need to lower down that phone, man.
yeah.
Where'd you leave it at?
It's right here.
And put it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to say that, but it's like, I mean, I hope they do the right thing. I hope the Trump administration does the right thing, either whether it's giving it to us or paying the debt.
Yeah,
I hope it goes to either or.
yeah, and that's the thing too, is that like a lot of that money. What are they called? Dinosaur politicians.
Dinosaur politicians, yeah.
Dinosaur politicians.
You got like the Mitch McConnells, you got the Nancy Pelosi's. Mitch is Republican, Nancy's a Democrat. You got all those, the Schumers and all that.
And I'm sure they got a big chunk of that change.
Absolutely they did, or they
100%.
almost did, or who knows, man? Maybe like I said, it's on hold, and then it was going to get spread out. Who knows?
If this has been occurring for years, though.
Oh, this has
been occurring for years. So you got to think.
Me personally, I believe all the oh my God, I can't.
Lobbyists?
Corruption.
Oh,
All the corruption within the government started after the assassination of JFK.
You really believe
I truly
that?
believe so.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, JFK, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but I believe he was gonna. I'll tell you in a bit. But there's that. So yeah, that's going on, and then you have the Epstein files, which that was a freaking dud on Friday.
Yeah.
Huge dud. It was like the ball was dropped. Now, it was just phase one. I get it. They're labeling it phase one, but everything was redacted. Everything was blacked out. Supposedly, they're saying that those are the names of the victims.
Yeah, and they're trying to protect them.
They're trying to protect the victims. That makes sense. But I saw this other article, man. I can't remember where I saw it from. They gave some names like Mick Jagger. Ivana Trump was on there.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. I mean, you could look it up. There's some names that got released, but it's not saying exactly like they were there doing stuff. It was more like their names were on the flight logs. And that's another thing too, man. It's going to be kind of hard to determine, were they just using his private jets? That's why they were on the flight logs, to go from point A to point B.
Not just going on the island,
Not
but
just
going
going to the
to like
island.
England or
Right.
going
Yo, Epstein, man, let me borrow your jet.
Yeah.
I got to go to LA or something, from New York to LA or to England. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to tell. I mean, the names are going to be on there, but are we really 100% sure that these people are doing something sinister?
Yeah.
You know? It's going to be kind of hard to determine. I'm pretty sure I hope more will come out. I hope we get names, and I hope this is just not a big fat dud.
Yeah.
I hope not, man. It better not be. And then same with the JFK files. Supposedly they're going to release, and MLK, Martin Luther King, which we'll save for another show, because there's a lot of stuff behind that too. A lot of silliness, corruption. But and then the other big story that hardly really anybody knows about, because mainstream media doesn't really talk about, is there was about over 70 Christians that got decapitated, got killed. It was a mass murder by ISIS or Hamas, one of those. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong on either or. But look it up when you guys have a chance. Just type in 70 dead Christians or 70 Christians decapitated. It's disturbing. It's sinister, and nobody's talking about it. Well, I mean, it's been around. It's happened for about a week or two. We were gonna record last week, and it just the story just barely came out. So the story's been out for a while. Like I said, mainstream media is still not really covering it. But do your research and look it up while you can. It's very, very disturbing and very sad that when it comes to Christianity, nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know. And I don't want to make this a statement or nothing, but when it comes to, you know, Judaism or the Jews, or when it comes to the Muslims and all that. It's like a huge thing when something happens to them. When something happens to the Christians, it's just it's hush hush. Nobody really cares.
Yeah.
As far as mainstream media,
And if the
ones in power,
and then of course if it is like Christians, they'll just say 70 people died.
Yeah, 70 people died. That's it. Yep. Not a big deal. I don't know. There's no
research in the targeting if they were targeted
right.
or
There's
not.
no protesting.
research in it.
There's no nothing. There's nothing. It's just more Christians died. Sweep it under the rug. Let's move on.
Yep.
And that's a huge problem. Not only because we're Christian, but in general. If I was a Jew or even a Muslim, I'd be like, why are they picking on the Christians this much? Why are they the redheaded stepchild?
Yeah.
But and there's more to that too. There's conspiracies on that too, which we'll get into as further episodes go on. But as of right now, was there anything you want to say before I take the mic?
Take it up, bro.
Let's get into the JFK stuff. Let's go. So let me get my I should have had this ready already. So like I said, we're just barely getting used to all this whole setup of video and everything. So we're going to bring up pictures of certain people. We're going to try our best to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's our first time. And I won't show any pictures of JFK or RFK because everybody knows who John F. Kennedy is. Everybody knows who Robert Kennedy is.
I mean, you type it once in Google, it's going to pop up right there.
So I'm going to bring up the faces of people that you don't really know. I didn't really know about. And you're going to find out today. So let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, John F. Kennedy passed away, died, got killed, got murdered, assassinated, November 22nd, 1963. JFK wanted to clean up house, basically what Trump is trying to do now, right? So it's something familiar that's happening right now. So he was trying to clean up house when he got elected. He got rid of a lot of his old military, a lot of military that was in there, and a lot of CIA leaders because they were funding wars, assassinating other leaders of overseas in other countries, and overthrowing governments overseas as well. And it was all for their own personal interests.
Yeah,
which goes on today still.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I was wrong with the statement I made earlier about JFK, that everything happened after JFK, because before JFK was in there, this crap was happening already.
Yeah, it was already happening.
The self-interest and those groups and all that. So he was trying to clean up house.
I mean, you could say they're been there since the Rockefellers, but I mean,
right there you go. Okay, and that's another one.
That's what I could think of.
There you go.
Like it mainly, like we could say it really started with the Rockefellers, but
the Bilderbergs.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Carnegie.
So
let's
the men who built America, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so these guys were causing a lot of trouble and doing it all in secret, Again, because of personal interest of their own. Bring up Alan Dulles for me. Let's see. He's going to be right there. That gentleman right there. That great-looking gentleman right there. Look at that. All right. So that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is Alan Dulles. He was the director of the CIA. Kennedy got rid of him. There's another guy. Bring up Charles P. Cabell. I don't know how to say his name. I'm probably butchering that. There's that guy right there. Another great gentleman. He was the deputy director of the CIA. So these guys ran the CIA, and they were doing real, secretive stuff. And JFK said, nope, you guys are out. I'm bringing my guys in. You guys are out. Sounds familiar, right, to what's going on today? JFK wanted more peace, and he wanted to slow down the military presence in Vietnam. And then we know what happened after he passed away. Vietnam exploded, and it was a war we lost. Right?
Yeah.
So he was trying to stay out of Vietnam, or we were already there, but he was trying to stop the presence slowly and try to get out of there. And he shut down the secret operations. Those two guys that I just showed you, they were working on in other countries. So when he got assassinated, I'm just fast forwarding now to, because everybody knows the motorcade. He went on there and he got assassinated. He got shot. Oswald, right? Oswald's a big name, which I won't bring up either because everybody knows how Oswald looks like. What was his full name, man? I can't think of it right now.
I just know Oswald. That's all I know him as, Oswald.
I didn't.
Well, you always hear Oswald killed Kennedy, so.
Yeah. So anyways, the FBI didn't want a full investigation into the assassination, right?
Yeah.
They just wanted it quick and easy, done. This is what it is. This is who did it. Sweep it under the rug. Life goes on, right? So they just wanted it done and fast, finished fast. J. Edgar Hoover, bring up that guy right there, which a lot of people know, maybe a lot of people don't know, especially the young kids, the young cats out there. That right there was J. Edgar Hoover. He was the FBI director and they had a recorded phone convo you could find on YouTube between him and Lyndon B. Johnson. Lyndon B. Johnson was the president who took over after JFK got assassinated. And they were talking about the investigation, who they're going to set up, who they're going to bring to run the investigation. And lo and behold, they wanted to. Lyndon B. Johnson was like, "Well, what about Mr. Alan Dulles? Should we bring him to run the investigation?" Which is again this guy right here that JFK got rid of. Yeah, JFK got rid of this guy.
Wow.
And guess who's running the investigation now? That gentleman right there. Yeah, Alan Dulles. You hear it. You can't make it up. It's on the phone recording between Lyndon B. Johnson and J. Edgar Hoover. Who do we bring in? Robert Dulles is a great gentleman. Yeah, he's a great guy. Let's bring him to run the investigation. And that's when the Warren Commission was created, right? And he ran it. Yeah, so
he ran the commission.
He ran the commission.
What?
So obviously the official story was that. Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, I know. See, you didn't know that, did you?
I'm trying to control my laugh, dude. Like it's.
I know, right? I mean, it's as plain as day that the CIA did it. And that's what I'm getting at, dude. Everybody knows the CIA. This wasn't just some lone dude some crazy guy named Oswald who worked alone. And no. CIA had a part in it. And this shows right here. Shows right here.
Wow.
Yeah. So obviously the official story was that 3 shots killed JFK, right? 2 hit him, 1 missed. The magic bullet theory, right? The magic bullet theory is the one that I believe went through the throat, shot through, and then hit the guy in front of him, and it bounced around they call it the magic bullet because it bounced around.
It bounced around his whole body.
Yeah, and that's what killed him, or some bull crap like that. And Lee Harvey Oswald, there we go. Lee Harvey Oswald, obviously, like I said, didn't act alone, and he even came out saying, I'm the patsy. You know, here's something you probably didn't know, and a lot of people didn't know, is the Dallas doctors who were the first ones to put their hands and examine JFK's body. They noticed that there was 2 shots in the neck and 1 in the chest area, and it looks like it came from the front, not the back.
Of course,
right. So everybody knows. A lot of people
knolls.
The grassy knoll. One theory is that that the driver shot him, turns around, shoots him, and when you look at the Zapruder film, it looks like he does have a gun in his hand and he shoots JFK in the throat. I'm not too sure about that one. Myself. You be the judge of that when you guys ever see the film.
It's more like a movie. You got a video you got to watch over and over again and probably examine.
Yeah, it's real weird, man. It's real weird. So yeah, so it shows that he got shot from the front as well in the throat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So somebody in the front shot him, not just somebody from the depository. I can't say that right. So, and of course the FBI ignored that part. They said, "What are you talking about? No, you're crazy. There's a magic bullet that hit him, and it would razzle dazzled and shot out of him and hit the guy in front of him. You know, you guys are crazy." Even the governor in front of him, the one that got hit as well. He was even asked more for an investigation. There's an interview with him, and I can't find it again. I came across it where he was even saying that he was wishing and hoping for a better investigation into this assassination. Because for God's sakes, the guy almost died too. He could have got killed.
Yeah.
One documentary I want you guys to watch is it's only on Paramount Plus, and it's called JFK What the Doctor Saw. That's what it's called. JFK What the Doctor Saw. You'll get a lot of info about the when they were looking at the body and everything, the autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is, we were still recording us, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys. The interesting thing about that is when the body went from those doctors and it went to to DC, to that hospital in DC, they cleaned it up. They stitched up the throat. Supposedly that's where the trichotomy or whatever they call that, the trach was in, and they cleaned up his body and they made it look like all the shots came from the back, not from the front.
Okay.
So that's what the official story is. 3 shots, all hit him from the back of the head, whatever, you know. And just a warning, it is a gruesome documentary. It's pretty crazy, man. They show JFK's bloody head, dude. He's laying on the gurney, right? And his hair's all dripping. It's all soaked. You see literally the side of his head gone.
Oh.
They show it. And his face is like this.
What?
Yeah, dude, like like his eyes are open and his teeth are, and he's just like this.
Like he didn't see
It's
it coming.
brutal, dude. It's brutal.
Well, also he was kind of smiling too, waving at people. So
Well, I mean, I think rigor mortis set in, and that's how his face just probably just ended up.
oof.
I mean, I don't know, but it's pretty graphic stuff. Whenever you watch that documentary, I've never seen that image or those visuals before until I saw that documentary, and just warning, it's pretty graphic, pretty brutal, very disturbing. And there's also a video, and I forgot, I didn't write down the YouTube channel, and we'll put a link on it. It's called Johnny Harris on YouTube, JFK. They delve into it as well, and that's where I got a lot of this info from, and some of the pictures and stuff was from that guy. So shout out to that guy as well, Mr. Johnny Harris. Sorry I butchered and I didn't know your YouTube channel name, and we'll put that in the link, so forgive us on that. Now, there's another part of this conspiracy, right? Because it became a conspiracy. And I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic. I'm not pointing fingers. This is literally a part of the conspiracy, another side to it, that the Jews did it. The Mossad. Now, the Mossad, for those who don't know, they're the CIA of Israel. They're you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have the CIA, that's their CIA. They're called the Mossad. So they're saying that our CIA and the Mossad worked together to get him killed.
Okay.
Why, you ask? Right? The Israeli leaders at the time, I didn't get his name. He was the leader at the time. He wanted more nuclear bombs and nuclear weapons. They had a reactor out there. They could harness it, but they were asking the United States, JFK, to bring, hey, hook us up with some weapons. Give us some weapons, We need to protect our land, and we'll protect you in return, all that, right?
Yeah.
But of course, that'll escalate tensions between other countries, because they're going to see us doing that, right? JFK didn't want that. Well, he wanted to go investigate first, so he did send. He would allow it unless he sent some scientists over there to go look at the reactors, make sure they could harness it, go investigate. Why do you need so many weapons? We're only going to give you so many, an X amount of weapons, to see if they deserve them.
Yeah.
So he was skeptical. JFK was skeptical when it came to the Israeli government. So that's already strike one for JFK when it comes to the Israeli government. So he sent the neutral scientists to go check out the reactor, and the Israelis set up a fake reactor, these fake control boards, control panels, because they didn't want to show them the real stuff, the real reactor. Why? I don't know.
Yeah.
So already they were playing games with the United States government.
Okay.
Right? So they didn't allow the neutral scientists to see the real reactor. JFK was pissed. So he didn't allow any nukes or anything to be sent to them. He didn't give them nothing, because it was only obvious that they were hiding something. Something was fishy. Something wasn't right. So he said, no, screw you guys. I'm not giving you anything. Strike two, right? So lo and behold, when he's going for his second re-election, that's where he goes on the motorcade. That's when he goes to Dallas. The Jewish leaders of Dallas were the ones who invited him to go. It was their idea to come on down, you want to win the Jewish vote? After that stunt you pulled, you want to win the Jewish vote? Come on down. We're all inviting you to come on down. Get in that motorcade and drive through the city, right?
Yeah.
In Dallas. Okay, yeah. So they invited him to gain support. Yeah, to gain support for his re-election. So he went over there to de-escalate tensions with the Jewish community for his re-election to get elected again, right?
Yeah.
Re-elected. Abraham Zapruder, for the known Zapruder film, was also Jewish, and he was part of the local ADL, which is the Anti-Defamation League, right? He was part of it. So basically, all these Jewish members were part of this league, and they called them the B'nai B'rith in Jewish. What the name of that group is. They're the ones that had JFK come to Dallas. That's the Anti-Defamation League.
Okay.
The Dallas Textiles building, where the first two shots came from, it was owned by two men, also Jewish, right? David Weisblatt. I don't think I have a picture of him. No, I don't have one. And also Douglas Jaff. Remember that name, Douglas Jaff.
Okay.
They were also part of the ADL, the B'nai B'rith. Douglas Jaff was a huge donor to Lyndon B. Johnson.
Okay.
He was a big supporter of Lyndon B. Johnson, right? He was huge on him. Who was the VP at the time, became president, right? Sam Bloom was the main chairman of the ADL. He pushed the hardest of Dallas Police Department to transfer Harvey Lee Oswald. When he got arrested, Harvey Lee Oswald got arrested, and he was screaming the infamous words, "I'm a patsy, I'm a patsy, I didn't work alone." He's the one, Sam Bloom, remember, the chairman of the ADL, the B'nai B'rith. He was pushing for the police department to move Oswald from the police department to the county jail to transfer him. There's that famous picture, right? The famous video, the famous picture. And of course, during that transfer, it was Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby is the one, right? Infamously, Jack Ruby. Yeah. He was just a local owner of a bar. Jack Ruby comes out of nowhere and kills them. People are like, did he love JFK so much that he wanted to kill this guy out of retaliation? Was he part of the mob? All that, you know. Lo and behold, you could guess where I'm going to get at. What was Jack Ruby? He was Jewish. His full name is Jakob Rubenstein. That's his real name, Jakob Rubenstein. Lo and behold, JFK he dies. Right after that, the reactor starts up. The real reactor over in Israel, the reactor in Israel starts up, goes live, and a couple years later, Lyndon B. Johnson gives them the bombs.
Wow. Wow.
So the point is, did the Mossad do this? Did the Israelians, the Israeli government, the Mossad, their CIA, did they do this? Did they put this in motion? Kind of looks like they did. And I don't want to say, like I said, I don't want to start no anti-Semitic remarks or comments or whatever under YouTube. I'm not saying this is what it is. They did it. The Jews did it. I'm not saying that. There's a lot of facts that point to it, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors and a lot of names, and it looks kind of fishy that, did they do it? Did the Mossad do it? Did they have a hand in it? Obviously, the CIA, the United States government, did as well, obviously. But did they have a hand in it? Were they the reasons why JFK got killed?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, everybody out there, like I said, do your research. Take some stuff with a grain of salt. There's a lot out there. But those are the two I wanted to talk about right there when it comes to JFK. Now, RFK, he died on June 6, 1968. He got killed. He got assassinated by a man named Sirhan Sirhan. He did it, quote unquote. Remember, Sirhan Sirhan did it. That's the official story. RFK was going to do the same thing. So bring him. Oh, there you go. There's Sirhan Sirhan right there. That is your Sirhan Sirhan. He's still alive. He's in jail right now. Still locked up. He's still alive. To this day, he says he didn't do it. He was there and he tried to do it, but he's not the one that killed him. He shot at him, which I'll get to, but to this day, he's still, and even RFK Jr. believes he didn't kill his dad. This guy wanted to, but he was unsuccessful. Somebody else did it. All right. So, like I said, RFK, he was going to continue his brother's legacy. He was going to ease up on the wars, stop the corruption, get that guy out of there, clean up house, right? Obviously, CIA ain't going to like that. Lyndon B. Johnson's people ain't going to like that. So, and plus JFK and RFK were real close with the black community, with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all those guys, right? And just the black community itself. And he was going to have a lot of the black community, a lot of black politicians in his cabinet. So that was a big factor because at the time, obviously, racism still is a thing today. Don't get me wrong, but it was huge back then. Let's be real. It was disgusting back then. And so a lot of people were like, oh, these guys are going to bring a lot of black people in and they're going to run the nation. And there was a lot of that, right? So a lot of people were weary about that, right? Mostly CIA.
Yeah.
Right. And God knows who else. So he had this campaign. He was on his way. He was in LA at the Ambassador Hotel in LA. That's where he was doing his speech, and trying to get support. And like I said, the official story, quote unquote, was Sirhan Sirhan that killed RFK. And this guy was a Palestinian.
Okay.
Now RFK was close to Israel. He was trying to, remember, he wants peace.
Yeah.
Kind of like Trump right now. He's not very he just wants peace. He's not very anti-Palestinian. I mean, man, I don't know. The one thing about Donald is he is kind of kissing up to Ben Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel. But is he doing that because just to play a part? you know, to be like buddy buddy, you know, what's the saying? Keep your friend,
keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
but your enemies closer. Is he doing that? You know, that's it's. Is he playing? Is he playing chess, not checkers?
Yeah.
You know, type of deal. And I think that's what RFK was doing. You know, so he was close with the Jewish community, or he was trying to be at least. So this guy didn't like that. This part's true. He didn't like that. He was very outspoken about hating the Kennedys, mostly RFK because of that. So he wanted him dead. The coroner, you know, investigating and working on RFK's body, doing the autopsy, shows that he was shot from the back. Now, Sirhan, when you look at the pictures in the video, he was in the front of RFK. But the shots, 3 shots in the back. 2 in the back, 1 in the head. And how they determined that was, I mean, obviously from the back, they realized that it was close range shots. There was what they call bullet tracings, what they call let me see, a carbon tattoo. There's a carbon tattoo. You get shot close range, it leaves a carbon tattoo on your skin and on your clothes that was left on his body. So it was a close range hit. Wasn't from the front, wasn't from far away. Somebody behind him shot him 3 times, close range. Carbon tattoos on his body and on his clothes. And of course, the FBI didn't pay any attention to the coroner.
Yeah.
They didn't hear any of that. They just, no, that's not what happened. What are you crazy?
So it's like they hired this guy.
Well, so the crazy thing is, he's claiming, and RFK believes it too. RFK Jr., Robert Kennedy Jr., big fan. He's met up with him in jail. They talk to each other. Yeah, they talk to each other because he's still claiming his innocence.
Yeah,
and RFK obviously doesn't believe and I don't believe this guy killed him either. Sirhan. He's claiming that he got drugged or something happened to him. They told him to meet him, so he did want to kill him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that was his plan in a way.
Probably not that day. Probably not there like that. But he did want to kill him. So I guess supposedly, and I could be getting this wrong. I'm gonna try to do the best I can. I don't think I put this in my notes. He showed up and he was groggy. He didn't know what he was doing there. He remembers he went to the back of the building of the Ambassador Hotel, and security guard let him in. Yeah, just let him in. Went through the back. He said he remembers these ladies. He remembers these ladies talking to him. He doesn't remember what they said, and they handed him the gun. They gave him the weapon, and they let him go through the kitchen. And I think I missed that point, was that RFK wasn't supposed to go that route. The guy holding him, which I'm going to get there and give his name, pulled him and took him down there. So everybody obviously followed him. RFK's security guards, everybody, the whole detail followed wherever this guy was pulling him. So he dragged him down the kitchen. That wasn't the original route. And there, Sirhan was waiting, shot at him. He gets tackled, Sirhan. Another interesting fact of that Sirhan is RFK had these 2 big guys. Let me see. I should have their names here. Give me a second. Rosie Greer and Rayford Johnson. Rosie Greer, he was an ex-football player. Big dude. I mean, 6 foot, 300 some pounds, huge guy. And Rayford Johnson was in the Olympics. Tall, big man as well. A little lanky, but another big man as well. And they were his security guards, part of his security detail. And Sirhan was a little guy, 5'7", my height. Little guy, same build, tiny. You're telling me I'm going to be able to handle these 2 guys? So supposedly they said that when they grabbed his arm and pushed him down, it was like steel. They couldn't get the gun out of his hand. So as they tackle him and they're holding onto the gun and they're trying to get him. Remember, big dudes versus a little guy. And they said he was like strong, like just something was wrong. Something wasn't right. And he was letting off the shots. Pop, pop, pop. Some people got hit. They didn't die, but some people did get hit within that kitchen because he was letting off the shots. So that was weird, you know. And so, yeah, so Sirhan to this day is claiming his innocence, that he didn't murder him. Something was wrong. Somebody drugged him. Something happened. Maybe hypnotized him. And I believe they did that with Lee Harvey Oswald as well.
Yeah.
They hypnotized him. They used him. And he was just strong, super, super strong, to where these guys couldn't get him down and tackle him or get the gun out of his hand. Okay, so the guy who was dragging RFK, the one I told you about, the one who brought him through the kitchen where he wasn't supposed to go, his name was Thane Eugene Cesar. RFK Jr. is the one that believes he's the one that killed his dad, and there's credibility to that, why he believes that. And I believe, from seeing the interviews of RFK Jr. talking about it, I believe that this guy Thane Eugene Cesar is the one that killed him too. And let me get to that. So this guy was hired just a day before RFK was going to the Ambassador Hotel. Barely hired. That's weird. Thane worked full-time at Lockheed Martin as security. Lockheed Martin, yeah, you know that name, and we'll get into that in future videos as well.
Okay.
He was a security guy there. He had high-level security clearance from the Department of Defense, and he was an alleged CIA agent. That's in the weeds. That's not, nobody's too sure on that. But supposedly, and I believe, that he worked for the CIA. Here we go again with the damn CIA. He's, like I said, he was the one that led RFK back in the kitchen. He was allegedly knowing for hating the Kennedys as well, because he was racist. He was outspoken hating the Kennedys. He was racist. He didn't like where the Kennedys were going with the country, and bringing the blacks and the Jews and all that. He didn't like that, right? So he was very outspoken, allegedly outspoken about that. So after, he's the one that held on to him. You can see in the picture, he's in the pictures. When RFK falls, it looks like Thane made it look like he grabbed him, like, oh my God, get down, and grabbed him. And I think, and I could be wrong, I think he let off more shots, the two in the back. The one in the head, I think, was when he was standing. The one on the back, he shot him twice. There's no footage of it. You can't see when he shoots or whatever. But I mean, it's plain as day. When the coroner saw the shots in the back and the carbon tattoos, it had to be Thane Cesar. Shortly after, this guy takes off. He flees the country. CIA and FBI don't even bother bringing him in. That's stupid, because he was the one there dragging him. He should have been suspect number one. And he wasn't. It was Sirhan Sirhan. He's the one that killed RFK, is what they're saying.
End of case.
End of case. Yeah. So this guy takes off, flies out of the country. He was last known to be, I don't know exactly, it's not too sure where he flew off to or where he was at. But the last known place he was where he died, he was living in the Philippines. He died in 2019. So very recently, not too long ago, he died. And RFK Jr. was only 14 years old at the time of his dad's death. RFK, like I said, he's met up and he's talked to Sirhan Sirhan. He's also tried to meet up with Thane Cesar himself. So every time RFK wanted to meet up with him, to fly to the Philippines, he even offered to fly to him and go meet up with him and talk to him. The guy kept playing games. First he said it was, yeah, it's going to cost you $10,000. RFK said, bet, let's do it, 10,000. Before he could leave, 15,000. Oh, make it 20. Sorry, man, if you want to see me, it's going to be 25,000. And he just kept upping it. And poor RFK Jr. was like trying to meet up with this guy. So he just gave up in an interview. He even said, like, he goes, the guy was just playing games. He goes, how do I know I would have spent all his money, gone over there, and he would have been dead, or he would have took off somewhere else, and he would have took off with his money. So RFK was like, dude, I'm not playing these childish games. Just whatever. I'm not going to meet up with you. You get what you want. So he never got closure from this guy. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
Thane Cesar takes off. And the part is, too, that's unknown is, I don't know if he took off right after the assassination. I don't know if it was years later. That part is not too sure. There's all kinds of different stories out there of when he took off. But yeah, so Thane Cesar is, and I believe, and I don't know where you stand, I mean, it's only obvious this guy's the one that killed RFK.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, actually.
Pretty freaking obvious.
Pretty obvious.
And so that's where we're at right now. I mean, as far as where we're at is, they're trying to release those files. The Trump administration is trying to release those files. Hopefully they do it, man. Anna Paulina Luna, she came out, the one who's in charge of the RFK files right now. She came out and said there was 2 shooters. That's all we know right now. That's the official story. And she came out saying that there was 2 shooters. So there's that so far. Will more come out? I hope to God there will be, just for the American people, for us to know, and especially for RFK Jr. closure for his dad and his uncle.
And also, this will just abolish the CIA internally too. Just more investigation in the CIA.
They'll have to clean it up. Yeah, it'll get cleaned up, and they're working on that right now. But I mean, there's so many reasons why. The main thing, a lot of people, the ones who are more lenient on these conspiracies, are the ones that are like, well, the CIA, they can't, the truth can't come out because it's going to create chaos. It's going to cause chaos and mass hysteria. I highly doubt that. I mean, us, the people, will be pissed, but I doubt we're going to storm the Capitol. I doubt. I mean, maybe, who knows, man? I don't know. There's some crazy assholes out there.
Well, man. The thing is, I don't know. I feel like we've grown so much as a country that we're a big boy now, We're not babies anymore. We don't need that
Us,
bottle.
the people.
Us, the people, aren't babies anymore. We don't need that bottle forced to us anymore. We could handle it, Just give us the change that we need.
Well, I don't know, man. There's some unhinged people out there. I'm pretty sure there's people who won't, man. And I think that's what they're scared of. But in the past, I'm talking about. In the past, that's what they were scared of. Maybe now, who knows? Like, here's the thing. This is where I'm going to stand. If they don't release anything, either Anna Paulina Luna, either Trump, RFK, maybe they got threatened. And I believe the Obamas, the Bushes, Clintons, everybody, every president after that, they were afraid for their life.
They play ball.
And they never released the files. And whereas if these files do get released, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to Trump? What's going to happen to Anna Paulina Luna? I don't know. Hope to God they don't get killed. I hope to God they don't. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to release these files or not, like in full. Not redacted. I mean, they were the only victims. RFK and JFK were the only victims that got killed. So what names would they have to redact? If there was more victims, okay, that's why you redact it, the names, or you'll see redactions on the paperwork. But if we see redactions on there, I don't know, man. I don't know. But you have to understand that maybe Luna and Trump, maybe they got threatened. And not only by the CIA, by the Mossad too. And the Mossad, man, they've allegedly, in the conspiracies, they have had they've had their hands on a lot of issues that here in America, 9/11, MLK, the Gulf and Tonkin accident. I don't know if the Gulf and Tonkin accident, that's the one that got us into Vietnam. That true is a conspiracy on its own, but that's been proven that was a false flag to get us into Vietnam. It's been proven.
Of course.
Yep, it's been proven. It's not a conspiracy anymore. It's in stone. And it's just a big, oh, well, we're sorry, sorry. You got us this time, and we're sorry that it was a false flag. Let's just move on. That's old news. That's old stuff.
You see, that annoys me with old news like that. It's like, let's just put it under the rug. It happened. And it's like, why don't we just make at least 1 week we talk about it?
Right. Or have a holiday for about it, or so. Is that what you mean? Like,
well, yeah, not just acknowledgement, like an acknowledgement of like 1 week of let's like the news outlets, everybody talking.
I don't know
about,
why
like,
I said holiday. Why would you make a holiday of that? It's weird.
You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like a whole week of like, the media just making a deal about
Mainstream media.
Mainstream media, of course, they're not going to, but mainstream media making a big deal about it for a good, 10 minutes. Good 10 minutes. You could do that a day, and talking about investigations in the works of like, well, what are the names and who are the people that did this? And if they're still alive, why aren't they being prosecuted?
Right.
You know, that kind of stuff is what I'm talking about.
And will they let Sirhan go? I don't know. I mean, because he did attempt to kill, a president-elect or somebody who was running for president, and so I don't know, man.
And the thing is, who are they protecting? So are they still alive? Are the names on that list? Are there some of them, like 5 of them, still alive till this day?
Right.
Why? And if they are passed away, if all of them on the ledger has been passed, have passed away, why can't we just see the names?
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. If there's redactions, why is there redactions? Because JFK and RFK were
There-
the only victims.
There has to be people still alive on that ledger that reported it. There has to be. If they're not, if that's the case,
So you're saying they're going to redact those names so that way people won't go crazy and try to assassinate them?
yes.
Ah,
Or how can I say this too? You gotta think about this too. You say it yourself. People are crazy, right?
yeah. There's
Think
some
about-
unhinged, right and left. There's unhinged people out there.
There's a saying that goes, "Don't let I'm trying to find the saying, but it's like, don't let the children suffer for the father's sins.
Ah, yeah.
The sins of the father.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, the father or mother probably caused this ruckus, probably did these issues, but now people might go after their children, their grandchildren.
Oh, damn.
So you got to think of protecting them.
Yeah, and Trump has a huge family.
Yeah,
So if they don't threaten him or try to kill him, they'll try to do it to one of his family members.
exactly. And so that's why
Damn.
the people on the ledger, they have tons of family members, you know? So people who are crazy, who are like you said, there are people who are crazy that if this goes out, what are they capable of? What are they going to do? So they might go, if they say, oh, he passed away, but here's the name of his children, and here's the name of the grandchildren. Let's go after them. And then they get attacked. So you got to be careful about stuff like that, about people who, just because one person does these awful things doesn't mean their children who had nothing to do with it should suffer. So I think that's the reason why they are kind of doing this. And then again, who knows? Maybe it's just selfish reasons. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, damn. I don't know, man. It's crazy ass world we live in.
Yeah.
And we're only gonna delve into crazier and get crazier and get crazier. And
I got some conspiracy I love to talk about.
Oh so yeah, we'll get into the
that.
weeds, man. These next few episodes, man. We got ice walls. We got reptilians. We got
giants.
We got giants. We got Nephilim. We're gonna talk about ghosts, aliens, demons. You name it, man. 9/11. Any conspiracy or anything you could think of, we're gonna talk about. We're gonna bring it up. And I always say that there's 3 categories when it comes to conspiracies. The first one is that it's true. It's been proven true, or we think it's true. The second one is it hasn't been proven yet, and it might be true. It might be. It's a big what if. And the third conspiracy is fun. It's entertaining. It's a big, again, another what if.
Mine are more fun.
Yeah. More conspiracy. There's a lot of conspiracies that are just so much fun and entertaining, and it's a huge, like, damn, can you imagine? You know, it's more, you know, as kids, that's what it was. Like, dude, that'd be crazy if this was true, you know? And that's where we're getting at. So don't think we're going to be like, this is set in stone, the ice walls. There's ice walls out there. No, we're just thinking like, damn, what if there is ice walls out there? It'd be a trip, you know? More crazy things humanity, and then I'm gonna get into a lot of archaeological finds and sites and a lot of cover-ups and that kind of deals and ties into the what ifs, you know. So that's basically what our show is gonna be about. So this one, episode 1, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
We're gonna wrap it up right here.
And we'll see you soon. God bless.
Peace.